Hi and welcome to this video. Now, as you've seen from the thumbnail title, today, or quite over many days, I'm going to be replacing the water pump. Now, around about sort of Christmas time, I took the car out, to give it a quick warm up, and noticed a bit of a pull under the car. And when I put it back and it cooled down, I had a quick look, and basically all around the water pump it was all fluffy, best way to describe it, and obviously it's leaking and it's not good. So basically now the weather's, I wouldn't say a little bit better, but it's best it's been for a while. I'm now planning on doing this job. Now the most annoying thing is I actually did the auxiliary belt and the thermostat, the coolant, two separate jobs, two videos. It's quite a while ago, maybe about a year and a half ago, and I didn't do the water pump then because it looked okay. How wrong I was, because now I've got to do both jobs again. So if you're looking for a job on basically just the auxiliary belt or just the thermostat, then I do have those videos on my list somewhere on my channel. If I remember, I'll link them down below as well if you're looking for those. So with this video, I'm not saying it's a guide, it's one of those jobs that needs doing, like most of my videos, and I thought it'd be a good idea to bring you guys along with me. So yeah, so basically I've shot myself in the foot, as now I've got to do both jobs again to get to the water pump. So let me pick you up and I'll show you what we're dealing with. So if we come around to the front of the car, I can't see, let me grab a torch. So just before Christmas, you'll be able to see on the floor there a big patch of coolant which is still pretty much drying out. It's best it's been for a while. So if we go into the engine bay, sorry, it's not the best of light in the garage, it's the best of UK weather, which is why I'm in here and not outside. So if we have a look in here, you can just about see the water pump, which is just under there. You can actually see it dripping onto the bottom, around about there. So yeah, to get to that, you basically need to drop all the coolant, take the alternator belt off again. I'm not going to do the thermostat because that's all done, but yeah, I need to do the belt and drop the coolant. Now with this video, I'm not doing it as a straight simple job. While the coolant's dropped, one thing I did want to do, which I didn't do last time, is actually take this radiator off and clean up. Can't really see it with the light, but all these little rusty patches, surface rust just under there. But like I say, because I have done this job before, all these Jubilee clips, it's too bright, all these Jubilee clips are nice and new, so that shouldn't be a problem getting those off. Oh, another thing as well, when I did start it, I did ask a few people, the coolant actually went really dark, like a black colour. Now apparently this is normal because with the engine being iron, it's basically picking up rust and throwing it around the coolant, around the system. So when I do drop the coolant, even though it's not that old, I won't be using the same. I'll put some nice fresh in there. Now one other way, or the best way to flush a system, other than putting water through it, is to get the car really hot, and then when you flush it, it kind of pulls all that out. So as I say, it's not going to be for me one night job. I don't have any of the replacement parts yet, but because of the weather, all the winds we've had, it's windy, it's throwing it down, you name it. This is why I'm in the garage, so I do apologise for the low light, but with family and everything, this is the best way and the only time I get to do this job. So it's going to be a case of doing it in bits for me. Now what I'm going to do off video is basically start the car up. Yes, I can't go for a drive and get it really hot, but I'm just going to start it up now because it's 7:30. Not really a good time to be starting the car up and letting it run for a while, but I'll try and get it warm as I can, and then I'll try and drop the coolant. As I say, I'm not using this coolant, it's going to go taken to a recycling place and disposed of properly, and I'll be getting some fresh. So I'll bring you back when the car's been started and it's a little bit warmer. Okay, so the car's been idling for about 10-15 minutes. Obviously I couldn't rev it or anything like that because it's time's knocking on, so I'll try not to touch anything. So the car's jacked up, the bucket's underneath, you can see down there, just an old oil bucket. So what I'm going to do is undo that bottom hose there, As I say, the brand new clip, so it should be okay. And it's all going to go, well, the coolant's going to go absolutely everywhere. So I'll try and catch as much of it as I can. Obviously, if you're doing this outside, then don't forget the coolant is toxic to wildlife. So try and be responsible with towels, and do what you can to try and clear up any spillages. Okay, just a bit of a change of plan. There is a bleed screw there, so just so it doesn't go everywhere and I can make it a bit more controlled, I'm going to put the bucket under there. So even trying to do it in a controlled way doesn't always go that well. As you can see, it's gone all under there and it's still dripping, so yeah, just try and do the best you can when that goes everywhere. Okay, so bringing you back, I've taken the top hose off and the bottom hose and disconnected this top hose here, which goes to the header tank. I didn't need to take them off completely, but it makes it a lot easier to work on, and now we can see what we're dealing with. So if you look down there, you can see all that crustiness that's just around the edge, and when I got underneath, it's actually leaking from the bottom, but yeah, it doesn't look great, does it? So even already, even after a year or so, you can see all the rusty particles, if you like, in the water pump and all around the system. So maybe next time I will be pushing this back outside to flush it with a hose pipe. But that's just the nature of the engine, I think. Just with it being iron, it's it's going to rust, and that's why I think it causes the the murky water in the header tank. But I think most cars do it, so I'm not too worried. It'd just be nice just to get the water pump on and have it not leak. So that's it. I'll leave it there because that's taken a lot longer than anticipated, and I'm tired. But here we go. Got coolant dripping everywhere. The radiator is now free. I'm going to end up taking that out just so I can do down there, and next time we can try and get the belt off. So this is another night. I got too cold last night, so I've just come back to it today. So what I want to do tonight, I'm not going to spend too long out here, is this pipe. Just you can see that one right there. I've not actually ever had off before, and it won't focus in. Lost it. So right down there, you can see it. That Jubilee clip has never been off, and it's very rusty. So I'll more than likely bring you back once that's off. Okay, so that Jubilee clip's now off. It's taken a little bit of time to get this off because it's so rusted. I'll definitely not be using that, so that can go in the bin eventually. So I'm going to have to find a new Jubilee clip for the end of there. But yeah, everything's off the water pump now. It's looking rather scabby. This is one of the reasons why I'm trying to clear this general area, try and make it a bit more nicer. But yeah, as I say, I'm not touching the thermostat, so I'm not doing any of that. But normally, because of all the rust that's in these pipes, it would be an idea to take this off and flush it through, but I don't really want to disturb that again. I'll have to get a new seal and all sorts, so I don't really want to have to touch that one. So the next thing to do is to try and loosen this fan belt. Now again, there's nothing wrong with this fan belt. It's only been on for a year or so, but as soon as I'm taking it off, I think for the price of I think £8 or something, whatever it was, I will be getting another one, because it's always good to have a spare, especially on these, as they do have a tendency to snap. I do know one or two people that have been left stranded from these snapping. So yeah, let's make a start and undo the alternator. So again, I've already done a video on this, but just for a quick reference, there is a bolt there and there's one just down there. If you undo that, then the alternator should pivot and you should be able to take the belt off. Now if you do insist on using the same belt, when you undo the bolt on this slider here, if you just put a mark there, then this will give you the good guide on how much tension to put back on it, so it's back in the same place. But yeah, you can't really go wrong with these anyway. All you need to do is basically tighten them, just so you can, there you go, tighten them so you can literally just twist it halfway, like that. And that's meant to be the best sort of fitting for these. But that's coming off anyway, so don't need to worry about that now. Okay, so I really need to get some more gloves because my hands are covered, but that's the 2 bolts undone. There's also 2 at the bottom on this side that the alternator pivots on. You might just have to loosen those because they might be a touch tight like what these were, because I did tighten them up, which I did forget. But now, as you can see, if I can get down, the alternator moves back and forth. So now if we push that forward like that, then we can come around here, and this belt, I need to go a touch further. This belt should now come off like so. So you can see where it's been leaking on the teeth. But yeah, I say it's still in good nick, that, so that will be a nice spare. Let's put that on there for now, because I will need the code and everything off that one to buy a new one. So as we can see, we've got 2 pulleys and everything down there. Now the water pump, if I can move this dangly wire and pipe out of the way. There we go, now I've got much better view. Stay. So now you can see the water pump. Now what I need to do next is undo those 3 bolts on here, and this is basically a cover for this, which should then come off. Now, like I've always said, I'm learning as I go along, so if I was to do this again, or if I'm advising you guys on how to do it, I would advise on loosening these before taking the belt off, because otherwise it just spins, obviously, when you try and undo that. But I have managed to undo it just by holding it quite tight. Lucky for me, these have come off, so now I can just unscrew these nuts, bolts even. So they're only small, so try not to lose them. They can go on there. There's 1. 2. 3. And this should, I'm hoping, just pull off. Here we go. You can see the water pump there. And we've got this little pulley, which looks in fairly good condition. I think I'm just going to degrease it and leave that one as it is. Maybe give that a quick wipe down just inside. But yeah, it's in good nick. Put that on there. Oops, sorry, dangly mic wires in the way. So yep, going back to here. Now you can see the water pump. Now to get this off, all I need to, can't get my hand in, undo is 1 screw there, 1 screw right at the back, down there, and that one there, and this should come off. So these are coming very slowly. I'm definitely going to have to buy some more gloves because my hands are getting filthy, and I think for the channel I'm going to have to invest in an actual phone mount, one that stands up, because I can't hold this camera and do a lot of this stuff. So I'm trying my best. Try and get these screws out. God, it's quite long to be fair. Ugh. Okay, so I've just got the pump off and you can see down there. But yeah, I did think at first that bit there, you see where the screw goes, was actually sheared off, but I think it's actually meant to be like that. So hopefully the new one that I get is the same and it's not actually broken. But yeah, as you can see, more coolant's gone everywhere, so I've got a bit of a clean up mission to do now. But this is the old pump down here. You can see why it's been leaking at the bottom, all nice and green. You see part of the seals come off as well. And lovely stuff. So I've now got all this done up, which is lovely. So I'll bring you back when that's done. I've just taken the water pump off and I'm sure I can hear something. Have a look in there. Let me try and get the phone in.
Can somebody give me a high?
A bit of a messy update. I obviously took the pump out, which is down there on the floor. I'll show you again in a minute. But yeah, removed the bucket thinking it'd be okay, dropped the car, and more's just gone absolutely everywhere. So I think I'm going to leave it there for tonight. Hopefully leave that rag in there, it should soak up some of the coolant. I think the next step now is I'm going to hopefully let that coolant dry, get rid of what I can. I'm going to have to look for another water pump because I've not ordered one yet, but you can see that's pretty toast. And yeah, so I think the next step for this car is to get it on a day where I'm free during the day, and apart from pumping that tyre up, 'cause it looks a bit flat, push it outside where I can basically push water through the system, because I'm going to have to try and get as much out as I can, the rusty stuff. I think as well, off camera, I'm going to take the bottle off and give that a clean. And I know, as I say, this is not just a guide for, I wouldn't say guide anyway, but it's not just a video for the water pump. While I'm at this stage, I'm going to see if I can take the radiator off, and I can do all that down there then. So I don't know what I've set myself in for, because the idea as well, I'm sure you probably noticed by now, but there's some rust on that beam as well. I'd like to get down there and basically try and sort all that out and make it a bit nicer to look at. So just your opinion as well. I'm going to put this on the group, as a question, or on YouTube. Now when all this is cleared up, obviously I'm going to rust treat it. Should I underseal all the beam down there straight away across, or shall I paint it blue to match it, to basically match in with the car? What are your thoughts on that? I'm undecided yet. Oops, bang my head on the bonnet. I'm undecided yet, so let me know what you think on that one. But yeah, I'll leave it there, and for you guys it'll just be in a few seconds, but for me it might be in a few days.